refuse. It's already difficult spending money, guys, just like it's difficult losing money. I refuse to then spend it on things that I don't even enjoy, on people that I don't even like, or rather to impress people that I don't like. That for me is not valuable. Hi guys, my name is andiswa.mojapelo and welcome to my channel. If it is your first time, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back and welcome to the last video for this year. Can you believe where the time has gone? I certainly, I can't. It feels like it's been 2 months, but it's actually been almost 6 months now and we've come to the end. I'm going to be taking a 1-month break from videos just to regroup, to breathe, to focus on other things, to focus on myself and all of that stuff. So if you've juggled a 9 to 5 with a YouTube channel and everything else that's going on in your life, you'll know how challenging it can actually become. So I'm glad that we've gotten this far and I'm looking forward to taking a break. Although I'm going to miss creating content, I really do think I need it. It's been, my 2021 has taken a turn towards the end for the worst. And I've been through a lot personally and I'm not ready to go into it now. But sure, yeah, a lot has happened in my personal life, a lot that I've had to deal with. A lot of lessons have been learned. So I'm not going to go into that now. But the point is that we've come a long way and I'm so grateful for the support and I'm so grateful for you guys being there throughout, for sharing my videos and all of those things. I don't know how many of you actually know this, but I started my YouTube channel with a 0 following. I was not active on Facebook for years. I did not have an Instagram account. I did not have a Twitter account. I did not have TikTok or anything like that. I literally just started here and then slowly started on the other platforms. So if you know, you'll know that it's really difficult to grow on YouTube. And the fact that we've gotten to almost 350 people now, and perhaps by the end of this video, 350 people on the dot, it's something to be proud of. And it's something to also be grateful for, because it's you guys who've been sharing my videos on your social media platforms, telling people about the content that I create, encouraging them to participate, to engage and to learn. And for me, it's always been about that. Even to the guys who are watching my videos and not necessarily subscribing, thank you so much, because by watching the videos, you're showing me that you see value in the content, you enjoy the content and you find it helpful. Otherwise, you wouldn't continue watching the videos. So I'm grateful to you as well, not only the subscribers. But yeah, guys, I'm really looking forward to the break. I don't want to lie. But before I go on break, I wanted to just do a sit-down Q&A, something different. And I asked you guys to send me a few questions about my money specifically. Now, the reason why I said my money is because I work in the financial services industry, right? And I know that whenever you work in the industry and you ask a person to ask you questions about money, they will immediately try and get financial advice out of you. And that's why for the Q&A, I said my money specifically. So ask me about things that I'm doing with my money this month, or in any month actually, and then I'll answer those questions. I know some of you went borderline financial advice, so I won't be answering those questions, unfortunately. Honestly, because I think it's the right thing to do. You should only give advice if you are registered with the FSCA. You should secondly only give advice if you've got a full picture of all the underlying facts regarding that specific advice instance. And that's not the case here, right? So advice shouldn't be given over WhatsApp, video, or anything like that without understanding the circumstances and obviously without being certified to give that specific advice. Let me not waste any more time. Let's get straight into today's Q&A. So I wrote the questions in my journal and I'm going to be reading them off my journal. So if I look down a bit, that's the reason why. The reason for that is because I use my phone to record my videos. I did not decide on buying a camera, and the reason for that is because I've given myself a specific benchmark. I want to reach a certain amount of subscribers before I purchase a camera. That's just the way my mind works. I like to put in the work and then reward myself for putting in the work and then get motivation to move forward. Video for another day. Let's get into the Q&A. The first question is, how is your financial journey going goals wise? Really nice question. All the questions are really nice. It's going really well. I would say I've achieved most of my goals for the year, so I'm really proud with the progress that I've made. But I think most importantly, what stands out for me with regards to my goals is the fact that I've been very big on value this year, right? I've been very big on re-looking my goals and the things that I've always wanted to achieve, specifically the long-term ones, and really asking myself, is this something I want because I genuinely value and it's important to me? Or are these things that I'm actually working towards because I feel like at a specific age I should have achieved them? I feel like, my mom would really appreciate me achieving them. I feel like my peers are working towards those specific goals. So I've let go of that mentality, which I really appreciate when it comes to my goals. And I've really looked at, what do I value as an individual? What do I think is important? What do I want to focus on? And what do I think will be beneficial to me? And I've really focused on that. So that's a highlight for me when it comes to how my goal journey is going. That really stands out. The second question is, how are you handling early pay this month? So I didn't know that like most of us actually get early pay, but it seems to be a thing. I also get paid early in December, and how I'm handling it is simple. I'm going to transfer my salary into my savings pocket in my existing bank account. I'm just going to transfer the salary as soon as I get it. And then towards the end of the month, when my debit orders are actually going to go through, I'm going to then move my salary back into my check account. It's not going to cost me anything. And I also don't have to call different providers asking them to change the date and all of those things. I do know that some people use that method, like they'll call the providers and ask them to deduct early. The thing for me is that I feel like discipline is very, very important when it comes to managing your finances. You need to train that discipline muscle, because if you don't, it's going to negatively affect the other areas in your finances in any case. You need discipline to stay invested. You need discipline to keep working towards your savings. You need discipline to help you stay away from sales and purchases that you don't necessarily need and that you shouldn't be prioritizing. So the sooner you learn to look at money and not use it and maintain your discipline, the better. So that's how I'm handling my early pay this month. Next question is, how much money is too much money to you? So money is relative, guys. Money is actually, it's paper that is given value, and that's how you should look at it when it comes to your finances. 5 rand to me is not valued at 5 rand to Bill Gates, for example, right? Everything is relative, especially when it comes to money. So this is why it's important to have a budget, so you understand what portion is that specific thing that you're thinking of purchasing taking off your budget, not the rand value, but what portion. Let me make an example. If my entertainment budget for the month is 2,500 rand, I'm not trying to go to a restaurant that's going to have a bill worth 2,000 rand on one night, right? Because 2,000 rand over 2,500 rand, you do the maths. It's a lot of money. When you are looking at making a purchase like a property, for example, and you look at the bond amount and it's going to be 8,000 rand, and at the end of every month, you are left with 4,000 rand. 8,000 over 4,000, look at the value over the affordability. Look at the value over the income, and then determine if that is too much money or if it is something that you can afford. Always look at your individual circumstances, your budget, how much you have in your pocket, and then look at that. I saw someone actually posted the other day a status on WhatsApp that said that when you out something, I'm paraphrasing, but something about when you're out in December, make sure that you are not spending money that other people are earning. Other people are spending money at places according to how much they earn. It might not be what you earn. So always make sure that you are looking at the value of money relative to your affordability and the income that you have. Would you rather have life cover for your kids or accumulate assets? Definitely both. Okay, I think both of them have a place to play in a financial plan, and both of them have a role that they play, and they are both very, very important. Now, obviously, we all want to acquire assets for our kids. We want them to be financially stable. We want to sort of give them a nice boost so they start off on a good start. But guys, the guarantee of being there for that process, the guarantee of accumulating enough to actually sustain them. We don't have that guarantee. And I've learned this year more than that any other year that we actually don't know anything. Like anything could happen at any given point in time. So you could be saving towards your child's education and you could put away 2,000 Rand for 2 months and you could pass away. I mean, I'm sorry to put it that way, but that is the reality. And then you've saved 4,000 Rand for something that's going to cost 2 million maybe for the lifetime of the child, including university fees or whatever. Then you've only saved 2,000 Rand times 2. You've accumulated 4,000 Rands worth in assets. And if you don't have life cover, it means it's over. And the way I think about it, specifically when you have kids, is that so long as I am breathing and able to earn an income, I'll be able to make a plan for my kids. But if I'm not there, then I'm not going to be able to have the opportunity to make a plan. So I need something in place that is going to make that plan. I need something in place that's going to pay out and make sure that there is something to sustain their education and their living expenses. I will actually do an entire video next year on life cover because I think that it's so important. Because you can't guarantee that you have tomorrow. You can't guarantee that you'll save enough. You can't guarantee that you'll have enough time to put enough away. So because of that, you need to manage that risk. You need to manage that risk that you just might not make it and you just might not be there. And the event that you are not, you want to make sure that your child is not put in a position where they need to make a plan. That is a very sensitive topic to me. What is the difference between financial freedom and financial stability? Let's start with how I define both. Financial stability to me is being able to afford yourself with the income that you earn to a point where you don't need to get debt in order to add on to your income. So your income comes in, you have your expenses, and by the way, in your expenses are your savings items, your wants and your entertainment and all of that. So if you are financially stable, in my view, you are able to afford your lifestyle with the income that you get without having to go to bad debt. And I'm going to add a second leg. Now, some people may argue that this second leg is unnecessary. For me, it is. Financial stability is also having an emergency fund, guys, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because if my income pays for my expenses, but if I lose my income next month, I need to sell my car, I need to sell my house, I need to sell my other assets because I can't afford them, then that to me is not stability. That is actually just surviving, right? So if 1 month of no salary could put you off your entire financial plan, and ruin things completely and cause you to have to sell things at low prices and panic and all of those things, then you are not stable in my view. So for me, stability is about, number one, affording myself without needing debt, and number two, having some savings to sustain me in the event that I don't have an income for 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months. 3 months is obviously the ideal, but I mean, a month or two is also a good place to start. Then for me, if you have that, you're definitely financially stable. Now, financial freedom is the goal. It's my goal, and it definitely should be your goal as well. And financial freedom, as I define it, is a point where you are at a point in your finances where your investments, your savings, and the portfolio that you've accumulated is actually giving you enough in returns to sustain your lifestyle. That means that the money that I have bears money babies, as some people that would put it, gives birth to enough money babies that they can actually take care of my lifestyle. So let me make a typical example. I've got one investment that gives me 10,000 Rand a month, and I live on 8,000 Rand. That means that I don't have to go to work because that investment is going to give me that income. The trick to financial freedom is that your investments must be diversified. So it's dangerous to rely on one investment that could change to sustain your lifestyle. Your portfolio must be in such a way that you are almost guaranteed that on any given month, those investments will sustain your lifestyle, which means that you don't necessarily have to work because they are giving you the income. So your money is actually making money babies that sustain your lifestyle. I like that term, and I've heard it before and I found it so funny, but it's actually true. You want your money to give birth to other money so that that money can sustain your lifestyle and ultimately sustain you. And when you are at that point, it means that you don't have to work because you've already got income that sustains your lifestyle. So that's the difference between stability and actual freedom, in my view. What are the 2 money rules that you live by? I love so many rules when it comes to money, and I'll share them as we progress on this YouTube journey. But the 2 that are most important at the moment for me is number one, every rand needs a job. You need to give your money jobs to do. And if you don't, they will find their own jobs. They will employ themselves. That I'm still talking about your rands, that is. Your rands will employ themselves, and you're not necessarily going to agree on the jobs that they do. You're not going to like them, and you're not going to get value out of them. So give them a job. Tell your money that 2,000 rand, you will go to retirement. 2,000 rand, you will go to medical aid. 1,000 rand, you will go to entertainment. Tell your money what to do every single month and track it, follow it. We all know that money, you know what it does, right? I don't need to tell you guys. So make sure that you track and you are conscious about how you spend your money, and you give your money a job. Because if your money, as Nicolette Mashile says, if you're familiar with her, she says that idle money is bored money. Bored money is gone money. If you let that money be idle, it's going to be bored. And once it's bored, it's gone. You don't know what happened to it. And for me, value is a big thing when it comes to money. I always advocate for getting the most value out of your rands. And if you don't know what's happening to that money, so if at the end of the month there's 2,000 rands and you have no idea what happened to it, it means that you didn't get value out of the 2,000 rands. Because if you did, you would know that I bought a pair of shoes with it. I bought this with it, and that was valuable. Hence, you can remember it. So definitely rule number one, every rand needs a job. Money rule number two is don't buy things that you can't afford with money that you don't have to impress people that you don't like. Exactly. Again, it's a value thing. That's money. That's the second money rule that I live by. I refuse. It's already difficult spending money, guys, just like it's difficult losing money. I refuse to then spend it on things that I don't even enjoy, on people that I don't even like, or rather to impress people that I don't like. That for me is not valuable. That's something I can't have with my money. If I work hard for my money, I need to make sure that where it is being spent, I am getting maximum value. And I can't be spending it to impress people that I don't like anyways. I can spend my money on people, but I must make sure that it's people that I care about and it's on things that I value. So that's definitely money rule number two. Don't spend money you don't have. It's actually multiple money rules in that one money rule. Don't spend money you don't have. Like that's a rule. Don't spend on things you can't afford. That's a rule, especially to impress people that you don't like. So I love that rule. Next questions is, do you use Easy Equities as an investment platforms, or do you use other platforms? I think the person is just asking me how I split my investments and stuff like that. If that is the question, I use different investment platforms for different purposes, right? So I will use an Easy Equities to buy my stocks, to buy things that I've done research on, to buy things that I want to get into. And I will also use what is called managed investments. So I do have investments where I've sat down with a financial advisor and I've said, these are my goals. This is what I'm trying to achieve. Please recommend the best solutions. I leverage off their experience, their education, the fact that they're good at their job, and I used that investment platform. And then I have other investment platforms where I invest directly. So I buy those shares myself, or I invest in specific solutions myself, but I don't do that with my entire investment portfolio. And that's the thing about investments, guys. Number one, understand the goal. What are you trying to achieve? Number two, what is the best solution in terms of what you're trying to achieve? And sometimes you are fortunate in that you have enough knowledge to make that decision. And in other times you are not fortunate, not because you are stupid or you don't know enough, but because that's not what you studied. That's not the area in which you have knowledge in. And if that's the case, then outsource. I'll always advocate for outsourcing. Outsource something if you don't have enough knowledge in it, and allow a person who is a professional, who has enough experience in that space to help you out. So do I use platforms such as Easy Equities? Yes, but I diversify as much as possible, and I use different platforms to give me the maximum benefit. As long as you understand the goal, you understand the terms, the conditions, the value, the expected returns, and the benefits. And if you don't want to go into stuff like that, outsource to a professional. I want to withdraw my investment from XX financial service provider, but I'm not sure what I want to throw it into. Now, these type of questions, guys, they go borderline financial advice, right? And I'll tell you why. The reason why is because before you withdraw, in fact, before you go into any investment, and withdrawing is also part of making an investment decisions, you need to understand the implications. Firstly, let's take a step back, 10 steps back. Why were you in this investment in the first place? What was the goal? Was it retirement? Was it buying a property? Was it short term? Why are you in the investment? Is the investment then meeting its goal, depending on why you invested? Why do you want to withdraw? What is the reason for withdrawal? What are the penalties if you withdraw? What are the possible bonuses you stand to lose out on if you withdraw? What are the other underlying investments? Is the investment performing poorly? If it is it because it's market driven? Or is it because, of something else, poor management? There's a lot of questions to ask yourself when it comes to making an investment decision. And this, I actually decided to respond to this question just to give you an idea of what are the questions you should be asking yourself. And then to also stretch that is the reason why one has to have full and complete information before giving financial advice. And one has to be registered with the FSCA so they follow the correct protocol and process, and they can help you make the best decision. So those are some of the questions to ask yourself. Why am I doing this? What was the goal? Is it matching the goal? What is the term? Am I happy with the returns relative to the market returns or relative to similar investments? And then sit down with a professional and have that conversation to say, look, this was my goal. This is what I was trying to achieve. Is this the best solution? Are there other solutions? And how do the technicalities work? Especially with withdrawals, because when I studied investments, I was actually surprised at some of the underlying long-term implications from a tax perspective that you actually face when you withdraw from certain investments. So it's important to understand what those implications are and not just make the decision based on one of the factors that I've outlined. Okay, the last question, which I think that is a really good question as well. I actually enjoyed these questions a lot. I wish there were more. How will you know when you've reached your financial freedom state or your financial freedom stage? Personally, in the way that I've defined financial freedom, I did tell you guys that I think it's a point where your portfolio is working for you and it is giving you so much value that it can actually sustain your lifestyle. How I'll know that I've reached my financial freedom stage is when I'm at a point in my life where the decisions that I make are not influenced by money. So I do what I enjoy with my time and I do it when I want to, right? So for instance, I could decide to take up something for 6 months that's not going to give me an income because I'm honestly passionate about it and that's the space that I want to be in. By the way, have you noticed how some people who are very rich that I will not name, like they start charities and they start contributing towards charities and managing charities when they become really, really rich? So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about waking up every day and honestly doing what you love, and not letting money steer you in a specific direction that you don't necessarily want to go into. It doesn't mean you don't have to earn income, but you won't be influenced by money. You'll honestly do what you love every single day, whether or not it does have an income associated with it. Guys, I think I've covered all of your questions. Thank you so much for the questions. Again, please do follow me on Instagram so that we can have more of these Q&As and give me feedback. How did you find it? Are there more questions that you'd like me to answer? And all of those things. Again, a huge shout out and thank you for supporting me this year. I really look forward to chatting with you again. Next year, I've already got a plan for the type of content I want to bring. I want us to really dive deeper into some of the topics that we've covered on a overriding sort of view. And I also want to answer a lot of the questions that you guys have been sending me. And please keep them coming because I really want to talk about things that you find relevant, things that affect you, things that really, keep you up at night when it comes to how do I tackle this problem, especially if it means sharing my own personal perspective. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give me a huge thumbs up and also consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so I can see you in the next one. Bye guys.